It's time for another episode of the Battlefield 5 Best Weapons. Last episode we took a look at the SMGs for the medic class, and the MP40 was voted as the #1 SMG in the game. And well, we finally have our results for which support weapon is the best. You guys have voted, and here are the results. Coming in at the #3 spot is the KE7, and this is not surprising in the slightest. The KE7 is the beginning weapon for the support class and performs very well in a majority of situations. Take it into close quarters and you'll be more than able to fight off the SMGs, and for medium and even long range, you have that built-in bipod giving you that increased stability, making it very easy to get consistent rounds on a target. The KE7 has a stable rate of fire of 568 rounds per minute, but can be increased up to 638 rounds per minute. The slow rate of fire is also accompanied by a medium-sized magazine with a bullet capacity of 25 rounds, but with that slow rate of fire it does last for a decent amount of time. Not something you'd expect for a support weapon, but it feels like more of an assault rifle than an LMG. It's overall a very effective weapon to use in most situations, and I find myself coming back to this weapon time and time again, just because of how versatile it is. So that's it for the #3 spot. The second most voted for weapon here was the Lewis gun. The Lewis gun is unlocked at support class rank 10 and plays out very well in medium ranges and can reach out to long range combat. Unlike the KE7, the Lewis plays more of the typical LMG role. It's got a slow rate of fire at 540 rounds per minute, it's got a 47 round magazine allowing for sustained fire, and comes in with a built-in bipod, making it a very good weapon to use at long range, although the Lewis gun does lack slightly at close range, so I would recommend using this in some of the more large and wide open maps, which is where the built-in bipod comes into play, as there is plenty of noticeable vertical recoil on this weapon. So any chance you have to get prone and deploy that bipod, you should definitely be doing so. To improve the overall performance of the Lewis gun, there is a few specializations that you can choose to make it a much better performer. The first one you're going to want to choose is the high velocity bullets. Since this weapon is more suited for those farther distances, having bullets that travel faster is a massive advantage. The second upgrade to choose here is the slings and swivels. Since the LMGs in Battlefield 5 have a little bit of a delay from the time you stop running until you can get your gun up and start firing, getting this advantage comes in very handy more often than not, and this is really noticeable for all of the LMGs. For the third upgrade here, you can either go with the extended magazines or barrel bedding. If you like to suppress the enemy positions a lot, I recommend going with those extended mags, but if you don't, then I would certainly recommend going with the barrel bedding. This decreases the bullet spread by 75%, making this gun far more accurate, which is very important when shooting from range. And then lastly here, for our fourth and final upgrade, we have the recoil buffer, decreasing the weapon's vertical recoil by 20%, which the Lewis gun definitely needs. So once you have all of these equipped, the Lewis gun is a far better gun than it was when you first unlocked it. Before the launch of Battlefield 5, DICE held several community missions in Battlefield 1, which allowed players to unlock skins for weapons that would be returning in Battlefield 5, and the Lewis gun was one of those weapons. If you completed the community mission, you would be granted the ARA skin, which essentially gave the weapon the same look it had in Battlefield 1, and that mission was definitely worth completing. So here we are. The weapon that takes the #1 spot is the MG42, which is the very last weapon that you unlock in the support class. Once you unlock it, you can definitely understand why it was voted as #1. The MG42 is an absolute beast of an LMG that can shoot through light armor and as much infantry as you can throw at it. It's got an insane rate of fire of 980 rounds per minute, but that can be increased even further up to 1200 rounds per minute, which is just crazy. Equipping that upgrade and taking out enemy planes is some of the most fun you can have in Battlefield 5, trust me on that. Just like the MG34, the MG42's iron sights or optic can only be used once the bipod is deployed, whether that be on the ground or on a barricade. And this is the MG42's main weakness. Although it does have a crazy rate of fire, it isn't amazing in close range, as firstly, it's extremely inaccurate without the bipod deployed, and secondly, it does have some very bad bullet spread. but apart from that, I can definitely see why it was voted as the best support weapon. So, for the best upgrades to equip on this weapon, I recommend going with the high velocity bullets for the same reason as the Lewis gun. For the second upgrade, I would recommend going with the extended belt, which gives you 250 rounds of ammunition to play with. You just burn through ammo with this weapon and you'll find yourself reloading very often, although you can choose the light bolt option, giving you that 1200 rounds per minute. If you just want to have some fun or try taking out some enemy planes, which I definitely recommend you do, you can go ahead and try the light bolt. So for the third upgrade, you should go with the chrome lining, allowing you to fire for 33% longer before overheating. And lastly, for the final upgrade, go with the quick reload, increasing the reload time by 15%. Although you can equip the incendiary bullets, which are great for taking out those enemy planes. Putting on that faster rate of fire and those incendiary bullets really allow you to chew through light armor and enemy planes. So if you feel like having some fun, those are some upgrades that you should definitely try out. So let's take a look at the weapons that didn't quite make it into the top 3 list. At number 4 we have the Bren gun, which I thought would be at the bottom of the list. Then we have the FG42 at number 5, which I expected to be at the top or at least near the top. And then lastly, we have the MG34. Now, I was personally slightly surprised by the results of this poll. I thought the FG42 would be at the top or near the top, then the MG42, and then the KE7, but it looks like we got quite a different outcome. Well, there we have it. The best support weapon in Battlefield 5 is the MG42. And yes, I'm well aware that I didn't include the shotguns in this list, but they will get their own video later on. So check the pinned comment down below to vote on next episode's category, the Recon weapons. If you want to see more content just like this, go ahead and click the bell and subscribe icon, and if you want to support my channel even further, leaving a like rating really helps out. Anyways guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you in the next Battlefield video.